Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about casual versus serious gaming. Two different styles of gaming, two different perspectives on gaming. Now, I'm firmly in the serious camp, a very serious person, and I think most of the people watching my videos are probably in that serious camp as well. We like to think about things, we like it to make sense. We like to tell stories that explore the human condition. We can learn something about ourselves, learn something about the people around us, the world around us. These are all serious things. So we try to elevate RPGs up and try to get that drama out of it. And so that's a serious camp. It requires some degree of work. It requires some degree of thought. You want to provoke thought, so you have to put thought into your work. People have to be able to think about something and it makes sense, and it gets their gears turning, and they look at the real world differently. To me, that's what serious gaming is all about. It's being logical and trying to pull that aspect in. Casual gaming is when people play role-playing games. But they might as well be playing a board game or a video game or a card game. They might as well be playing poker. So this is when people come in and they just want to chill out with their friends and have something to occupy their time and not converse with each other for some reason. And so that's going to be the game for them. So they're going to focus on their build. They're not going to ask questions about how the world works or who the people in the world are, how they feel about things. These are the people who want to kill monsters and take loot and get better gear so they can kill more monsters and get more loot and just rinse, repeat. Rinse, recycle, repeat. Son, just go through there, reduce, reuse. All those horrible R words that I stumble over. But that's going to be like casual gaming. So someone who doesn't care about role-playing games as a hobby, they just want to be entertained for an evening. And they don't want to think about these deep questions, This is like the difference between someone who's going to watch like Inception and think about how the mind works, how your memory affects your personality. And if you lose your memory, are you still the same person? Of people who are going to watch Cobb, I believe the main character's name was, struggle with the death of his wife and how it affected him and how he misses her and he can't be with his children. And you care about this person, and you feel for him. And then when you meet someone in real life who, might have had their children taken away from them or lost a loved one, you have a different perspective. Or if heaven forbid, if anything like that happens to you, you have some perspective on that as well. And you could say, well, Cobb got his kid taken away from him and he fought to get his kid back. So that's what I'm going to do. And Cobb might be a fictional character, but you can learn real lessons about that. So that's someone who watches, that's a serious movie. And that's someone who takes a movie seriously is going to think about those things. Whereas someone who watches a movie casually, they'd be happy watching like Transformers or like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like Battleship or just something with lots of CGI and explosions and action and car chases, and there's no real reason. The characters have no real feelings. And there's no real danger. James Bond isn't really going to get killed or hurt. It's just casual. It's just a popcorn movie. See, I like serious movies. I like serious games. So when people come in and they're trying to shift the hobby towards casual gaming, I'm just like, whoa. I don't like that. So, go away. That's not me. And of course, I want the hobby to be what I would enjoy, what I love out of the hobby. I want more of. What I dislike, I want less of. And I'm an active participant trying to improve the hobby. I put out, hundreds of videos. I go on forums, I blog, and podcasts, and write my own systems, and participate in the local community as well, helping people organize their games and find players and introducing people and hosting game night and all these different things I do. Writing articles for magazines. Just all these different things I do to try to help the hobby grow in the way that I want, in the way that I appreciate, in the way that's helped my life. Role playing has certainly improved my perspective on the world in many ways, and I have a great respect and appreciation for the hobby, and I enjoy it as a serious hobby. I want it to be more serious. So a lot of my videos and other media, as I said, can come across from my point of view, as they should. But I just thought I'd do this video to point out the differences as well, and to point out that I do have some respect and understanding for the casual gaming. Because I have been involved in some casual games, not of my own free will, but I have been involved. And we sit around, roll dice, and we talk out of character a lot, and maybe somebody's drinking beers, and and we have jokes in the game, and Monty Python quotes, and power gaming, and metagaming, and GM Fiat, and comedy, just light entertainment. And I have actually had some enjoyable times at those kind of games. It's not to the same level, though, that I have with the serious games. If a casual game is the best casual game of all time, it might be like a B. It might get a B rating from me. But a serious game, that's going to get an A rating. So I'm like, you could get more fun. Try to. That's my philosophy. It's like there's just more potential payoff, right? So it's kind of like, would you rather, if you're trying to roll a 2 or higher, would you rather roll a D4 or a D20? And I'm like, well, I'd rather roll a D20. I'll get much higher than just a 2 rating that way. But some people are very happy with that D4. And I can understand the casual gaming to some degree. I mean, people like board games, and they like video games, and they like to be social without being really social. Because to me, like, being social is just sit around and talk to each other. But some people are like, well, we'll sit around and we'll play a board game instead of talking to each other. And to me, I'm like, well, that's like the worst of both worlds. Like, you're not going to get an amazing game experience, and you're not going to get an amazing conversation experience. So to me, I really don't like board games. But a role-playing game can be reduced down to that level of kind of a board game. I've seen people do that, and they like it, and they've had fun with it. And to them, it is for some people, that's like their only social outlet. They have few friends. They have trouble interacting with people, making friends. That's a way that they can do that. So I'm glad the hobby is there for them in whatever capacity they can contribute to. And to the same level, some people whose real lives are really, really serious appreciate that chance to unwind. Like my buddy Dr. Paul works in the emergency room. He's a doctor. He sees horrible things all day long. And to get in on a role-playing game and just relax and unwind and not think and turn your brain off, that's great for him. And I can just see the tension just ooze out of him. He really gets that catharsis to just relax. And for him, so casual gaming is awesome. And he doesn't want to be in a serious game because he deals with too much seriousness in real life. Now, for me, it's not that like my real life isn't serious. It's just I really enjoy that seriousness. So, you know, I'll hit up some MMA or training or pro wrestling match, you know, get the shit kicked out of me, and then go head through a game. And, you know, I enjoy being serious in all of these different aspects. Or, you know, at my work, it could be very high stress, or, you know, personal life could be high stress. I'm just like, more stress, you know, more, because it's all a little bit different. The kind of stress that you get rolling with someone jujitsu style, and they get the sleeper on you, and you get the tunnel vision, and you start to black out, and you start tapping, and then they just don't let go, and you're just like, I'm gonna die, and you're tunnel vision, and you can't see, and then finally they let go. Like that's a different kind of stressful from like making sales quotas at work and getting yelled at by your boss, and yelled at by the clients, and you know, feeling like unappreciated and overworked and overwhelmed. That's a different kind of stress. And I still get a lot of that catharsis from gaming, because my stress is not in the game. The stress in the game is on my character. So my stress I get released from still through the game, which is great. But yeah, I just want to make this video and say that, you know, why I like to take it seriously, because there's that bigger payoff. But also that I understand some people don't want to take it so seriously, and they just want to, you know, all those things I mentioned, power game and dungeon crawl and whatnot. And on a lot of levels, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd like them to try to take it more seriously, because I think they'd have more fun if they took it more seriously. They'd learn more lessons. They'd have more experiences in their life. So that's why I'm always pushing the serious aspects, because I think it is more fun. So I want you to have more fun, not less fun. If you want to have less fun, I would need to make a channel. You could just play you know, Pathfinder, and that would be less fun. But if that's what you want, that's cool. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video because some people are like, why are you attack casual gamers, and why are you so mean to power gamers and metagaming and dungeon crawls and hack and slash, and you know, when the world doesn't make sense, you should just accept it as it is. And even though your character can't make an intelligent, informed decision because he lives in a world that doesn't make sense, you should just go with the flow and let the GM railroad you, and then he'll get burned out because he has to write a module every session, because you can't drive yourself, because you don't understand the world, so he has to do it, and it's a lot of work, so he gets burned out. And, you know, they're just like, no, that's awesome, though, do that, burn your GM out, and never have a huge amount of fun, and talk out of character a lot. Just like, to me, that's so the opposite. But I did want to come through and say, I do understand why people do that to some degree. It's just not for me. And I wanted to explain why it's not for me, and why I don't think it's really for you if you give another style a try. And if you come through and you actually experience things in character, and you're not looking down on a battle map or mini grid or whatever, playing with toys and moving them around. But if you're looking out through the eyes of your character, and you can see the world around you, and it's a world different from ours, but a real world that makes sense in its context, and you can make decisions and know what's happening, and really, you know, step completely out of yourself. It's like an out of body experience, and that's an amazing feeling, and it's something you can only get out of RPGs, really. And to feel like you can change that world, not just being read a story that you can visualize, or watch a movie that you can see it, but actually know you can change things too. You're in it. You're not just sitting there in a roller coaster. You know, you're driving a fighter jet, and that's what I want. But if you give it a shot, if you actually build that foundation to allow you to do that, you'll get that experience at the pinnacle. Whereas if you don't have the foundation, you can't build up, so you can't get up to there. You're rolling D4, and you need to roll a 10 to have, you know, to have a level 10 experience. I have level 10 experience all the time. It's awesome. But I'm rolling a D20. And then I look at somebody and they're like rolling D4, and I'm just like, don't you think you want to like try a little harder? Like, try to roll this D20. Like, you'll have a better time. You'll have a 10 instead of a 2. And they're like, oh, no. You leave my D4 alone. I love this D4. I love it as a 2. And I'm like, yeah, but you could love it as a 10. You could love the hobby as a 10. He's like, no, I love the hobby as a 2. And I'm like, but I love it as a 10, and I want you to be as passionate as I am. And they're like, oh, no, don't worry about that. Just 2. Here, I'm just gonna have a 2. You know, it's kind of like if you're eating, you know, some kind of like delicious ethnic food. You know, like I love Indian food and curry, so I'm eating this delicious curry, and I'm like, oh, this curry, all the spice and the flavor and the texture. And then the guy sitting next to you is eating like McDonald's, and you're just like, oh, just try some of this curry though, it's awesome. And they're like, oh, no, McDonald's is fine. And like, oh yeah, but you never had the spice and the, you know, the sensation of the heat coming through you, and I have the sensation of curry inside of my head, you know. and they're just like, no, McDonald's is fine. And they won't even try it, and you're just like, you could be enjoying your lunch so much more than you are if you try some curry, or you know, hit some shawarma up, or you know, hit up some Chinese food. Most people will at least try Chinese food. Most people, or some sushi, you know, or whatever it is. Get a new experience going on, because you might like it a lot. And there might be some things that you don't like, but then you know, at least you know that you don't like them. So that's going to be my ramble on casual versus serious, and why I'm serious. It's not really where I thought the video would go through to, but I am happy with that effort. So leave me in the comments, are you casual? Are you serious? Why? Why so serious? or why so casual?